Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and today we are talking all about goalkeepers and more specifically all about finding the next Emiliano Martinez. Now obviously last season Martinez was absolutely amazing, cemented himself as absolute FPL legend status. He was the 7th highest scoring player. He scored more points than players like Mane, Dallas, Watkins, DCL, Trent, Robertson, Sterling, Diaz, KDB. So all of these players we think of as being really important, really high scoring players. Martinez outscored the lot. In fact, there were actually 3 goalkeepers in the top 20 scoring players last season. So it's more important than ever in recent seasons to get that goalkeeper pick right. And that's what I'm going to be doing today, guys. Trying to help you out, trying to identify the best goalkeeper to start this season with. And hopefully you'll have that set and forget goalkeeper that you never have to worry about ever again for the whole season, and we get another massively high scoring goalkeeper indeed without really having to spend too much money either. Remember, Martinez, it was only 4.5 million at the start of last season, so let's try and do that again, guys. So if you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like. I would massively appreciate that, and of course subscribe if you're new around here. And before we have a look at some of the options who could become the next Emi Martinez, a quick word from our sponsor today, and our sponsor today is of course Fantasy Football Hub, my favorite fantasy football tool to use, my favorite website, my favorite app. Wherever you want to use it, it is just amazing. I always have 3 fantasy football tabs open on my computer at all times. Hub website pages for the Opta stats, for the fixtures, for the player comparisons. I'm always constantly using Fantasy Football Hub to make these videos. You know, I'm using the stats I found on Fantasy Football Hub to make this video today. So it really is so useful when trying to select the best players. You've got all those underlying stats on there: expected goals, expected clean sheets, how many shots they're taking in the box, outside of the box, how many headed chances. All of the stats are there. You can compare different players, you can look at the fixtures and see who has the best run of fixtures. So much stuff on there. There are articles and stuff if you want to just have a good old read of what different expert fantasy managers are doing with their fantasy teams and their opinions on different things. It's all there. It's all there. It's so worth having a go. So you can get 25% off your Fantasy Football Hub subscription using the link in my description, and it really helps out the channel as well if you go ahead and do that. So definitely worth it. You're going to benefit massively from this. If you are a true, proper fantasy football fan, you need to be using tools like this. So give it a go. Honestly, I think it's the best one out there. So definitely worth a go. So first of all, what makes the next Martinez? Well, for a high-scoring goalkeeper, there are a few key ingredients that we are looking out for. So the most obvious quality that we need in a goalkeeper is a goalkeeper that keeps some clean sheets. So a fairly strong defensive record for the team that the goalkeeper plays for is going to be important. We're kind of looking for maybe 1 in 3 clean sheets. I think that would be pretty good. If we're looking for more than that, we're probably asking a little bit too much. But that's kind of where we probably set the benchmark. 1 clean sheet every 3 games or more. That would be pretty good, right? We also need a goalkeeper who has to make saves. So this is going to be a little bit counterintuitive, so bear with me, guys, but we don't actually want a team that is too good defensively. We don't want a team that controls possession. We don't want a goalkeeper from a team that doesn't allow many shots against them. So think like a Brighton or a Man City, where the goalkeeper doesn't actually have very much to do in a game. That might sound like that's exactly what we want on paper to get our clean sheets, but for a truly high-scoring goalkeeper, it's not just about clean sheets. It's also about those valuable save points. 1 point per 3 saves. If we can get a goalkeeper who's getting sort of 6 saves in a game, then that's an extra 2 points, and the player then doesn't even need a clean sheet to start racking up those points. And a goalkeeper who's forced to make a lot of saves because they concede a lot of shots also is going to get those bonus points as well. So more than one reason really why we do actually need a goalkeeper who is forced to make saves, particularly a goalkeepers who have forced to make saves from outside the box, because they're easy save points. Bit of a cheat code there, really. We also do need a goalkeeper who has a high save percentage. So if there's going to be a goalkeeper who has to concede a lot of shots, who has to save a lot of shots, they have to be a good goalkeeper. They have to be a goalkeeper with a very decent save percentage. So all the shots that are coming their way, they're actually going to save them. So that is so important as well. We want a goalkeeper who is the star of the show rather than the defense in front of them. We want a goalkeeper who is, you know, when you look at the back line, say there's 4 defenders and a goalkeeper, what we want to do is look at that team and say, okay, yeah, the defense are okay, but the goalkeeper is the real one keeping those clean sheets for this team, the real hero of the team. That's kind of what we're looking for. And speaking of bonus points as well, we do need a goalkeeper who plays for a team that doesn't score too many goals. Again, this is going to sound kind of strange to you guys, but you know, what we see is when a team scores a lot of goals, all of the bonus points are hoovered up by those attackers. You know, if you've got several goal scorers in a team, who's getting the bonus points? It's mostly the attackers. Even if the team gets a clean sheet, it's the attackers that get the bonus points. So if a team is only scoring 1-2 goals per game, maybe nil-nils here and there, then the goalkeeper is actually going to be the one getting the bonus points. And that's kind of what we're after as well. So very, very important. And finally, we want a nice, cheap goalkeeper. We're seeing every year that many 5 million goalkeepers are going toe-to-toe or even outscoring the 5.5 to 6 million goalkeepers. So paying that extra amount for a goalkeeper is actually very rarely worth it, especially if we're able to pick the right cheap goalkeeper. And that's so important, and that's what we're going to be trying to do today, saving that money and spend it on those outfield players instead, by virtue of being clever and picking the right goalkeeper to go for. So I think without further ado, we look at the maybe 4.5 options that I've got for you to become the next Emiliano Martinez. So first of all, we've got Robert Sanchez, probably the most popular pick amongst pundits, amongst a lot of you guys as well. If you're going for a cheap goalkeeper, a lot of you guys are going for Sanchez. Kind of understand that, but I don't think it's the best one, because although it's a great price at 4.5 million, it doesn't have all of the qualities. You have some of the qualities that we're looking for, but not all of them. So first of all, Brighton, with Sanchez in goal, have a 37% clean sheet percentage. That's the 4th best in the Premier League, actually. So it's only behind Edison, Mendy and Martinez, who were, you know, the title character of this whole video. So 37% clean sheet percentage is absolutely amazing, obviously. There's 10 clean sheets in 27 games last season. He's got a 71.3% save percentage. That's not bad at all. That's 8th in the league, so we're talking above average save percentage there. Now the problem becomes when we kind of realise that because Brighton don't concede too many shots, means Sanchez is not actually making that many saves. So he only does about 2.44 saves per game on average, which is, it's okay, but we do want that a little bit higher if we're going to find a really high scoring goalkeeper. We do want that a little bit higher, and as a consequence, he only got 8 bonus points all season, because he just he didn't have to be the star of the show in the Brighton defence. Brighton's defence very good, but he was not the star of it. So that's kind of what puts me off a little bit about Sanchez. He's a good pick. He could become the next Martinez, but it's going to mean that Brighton have to concede more shots, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. Next up, we've got Vicente Guaita, another 4.5 option, so really nice, good price there. Crystal Palace are under a fresh start under their new manager. They're improving, they're buying new players. Now, they do have poor fixtures to start off, and only 3 real opportunities for clean sheets in the first 10 games, unless they pull out a few shock results, who knows. Brighton, unfortunately, only have a 21.6 clean sheet percentage. That's actually one of the worst in the league for Guaita. He only got 8 clean sheets in 37 games last season. He's got a 63% save percentage as well. That is the worst in the league, unfortunately. 2.86 saves per game, which isn't great, but it is better than Sanchez, and 0.41 bonus points per game for a total of 15 bonus points. So a little better than Sanchez in terms of saves and bonus points, but the clean sheet percentage and the save percentage are a little bit worrying. So the stats from last season overall don't look great, but he is a goalkeeper who I've watched at times last season and thought, there's a really good goalkeeper right here. The amount of times he's pulled out these worldy saves, and fair enough, on average, Crystal Palace concedes so many chances, and Guaita can make the occasional mistake or perhaps save that you think he should make, or maybe it's more the fact that Crystal Palace concedes so many high quality chances that he doesn't really have a chance of saving them. But there's clearly a very good goalkeeper there. So I think this one has potential, but there's not really enough prior evidence for me to go in and say, yes, he's the one. I'm not convinced he's the one, but there are positive signs there that suggest he could become the next Martinez. Now we have Daniel Bachmann, a great first name, by the way, Daniel there. Love it, love it. I wish I had it myself. Oh, wait. So Watford were by far the best defence in the Championship, and this is, I think, why a lot of us are talking a little bit about the Watford defence, the Watford goalkeeper, and a few people I have seen more and more going for Bachmann as their goalkeeper. I think he's emerging as the pundit's choice goalkeeper, actually overtaking Sanchez in many respects. So 56.5 clean sheet percentage. Now, that was the clear best in the league. To keep clean sheets in well over half of your games is absolutely fantastic. He actually got 13 clean sheets in the 23 games he played. He had a 76.1 save percentage in the championship. That was the second best in the league as well, so that's really, really high. Only 1.57 saves per game, however, which is very low, and that kind of suggests to me that maybe a lot of the reason why Watford were keeping so many clean sheets is, although obviously Bachmann had a very high save percentage, he wasn't actually having to make that many saves. So maybe it's actually the defence there that has become the key contributor towards the good defensive record. And that's kind of not exactly what we're after, is it really? Obviously, Bachmann is likely to have a bit of a more difficult time, or Watford in general have a more difficult time as they go up into the Premier League. So maybe they concede more chances. Maybe Bachmann is forced to make more saves. This is kind of speculative. But we know that Watford are at least going to have a semi-decent defensive record. We've seen it before with sort of Sheffield United, Wolves, when they've come into the Premier League. A lot of people write these newly promoted teams off, but then they take their great defensive record that they had in the Championship, they bring it up to the Premier League, and actually we're seeing some really good assets there. So maybe that happens. If Bachmann and Watford in general concede a few more shots, Bachmann could be forced to make more saves, and then we're going to get a few more clean sheets, and we're going to get the save points as well. So real potential here. This is one I really do like quite a lot at the moment. But like I said, it does seem that Watford's defence was just as much to do as the amazing clean sheet record as the goalkeeper. And what we really want to try and find here is a goalkeeper who can become the star of the team, outperform what they're expected, and be the best defender really in that back line, the key component to the clean sheets. And I think I have someone who is a little bit better than that. So I've got Illan Mellier. Now, he is a bit more expensive at 5 million, so that might put a few of you guys off, and I understand why it would put you off as well. But Mellier was the third highest scoring goalkeeper last season, only behind Martinez and Ederson. He actually only scored 6 less points than Ederson. So if you're looking at bringing in Ederson for 6 million, maybe Mellier at 5 million is actually just as good of an option. And I actually think he's a better option as well. So a 31.4 clean sheet percentage behind a very thin Leeds defence that improved throughout the season. We remember Leeds conceding a lot of goals at the start of the season, but then they got better and better and better and better as the season went on. If you look at the second half of the season alone, his clean sheet percentage is just as good as Martinez. His save percentage just as good as Martinez. So we've already got a player who, if you just take the second half of the season alone, he's already there. He's already become that next Martinez, you know. He actually made more saves than Martinez last season per game as well. So he made 4 saves on average per game. That's the second in the entire league, only behind Sam Johnston, who was obviously relegated with West Brom. So right now, that means of Premier League goalkeepers, he has the best Premier League record from last season, bringing forward into this new season, indeed, in terms of saves made per game. You've also got 0.61 bonus points per game. That's the third best out of all starting goalkeepers behind Martinez and Johnston again. And overall, he has very comparable stats to Martinez, yet he's 0.5 million cheaper this year. But more interestingly, the thing I like the most about Mellier is he's part of an improving Leeds side who defensively grew to learn the Premier League in the second half of the season, got better and better and better, more clean sheets, constantly looking better. Leeds kind of have defenders returning from injury. They're buying more defenders, and Mellier himself is only 21 years old and is constantly growing and improving as a goalkeeper. And for that reason, with similar stats in a player that is growing and improving in a defence that is coming together a little bit more nicely for Leeds, a team that has learnt the Premier League and how to defend in the Premier League and how to keep clean sheets in the Premier League, and a goalkeeper who has just been absolutely fantastic, in my opinion, Mellier is the next Martinez. But do have one bonus shout for you that could be interesting. So, Alphonse Areola is obviously not in the Premier League right now, but it does look like he is going to sign for a Premier League team in this coming season, most likely going to be West Ham. And if he does come into West Ham, he's probably going to be around 5 million, to be honest. That's kind of what I predict he's going to be. But if he's at 4.5 million, I think you absolutely have to buy him. You have to buy him if he's as cheap as that and he comes into West Ham. But let's assume that he's going to be about 5 million. what we have here is another absolutely fantastic goalkeeper. He was arguably Fulham's best player last season. 32% clean sheet percentage, 2.58 saves per game, 0.26 bonus points per game. His stats are comparable to Robert Sanchez, but if he's signed by a better team, playing in a better team, I think that there's going to be some really nice potential here for more clean sheets, more saves, because, you know, there's clearly a fantastic goalkeeper in there in Areola, but he just needs to find the right team to play for. And if he plays for West Ham, and if we are looking and excited about West Ham as we were last year, definitely going to be some huge potential for an amazing goalkeeper there for fantasy. So yeah, if that happens, and it might, let's see, definitely worth a shout as well, depending on what price they put him in the game at. So there we have it, guys. Hopefully by now, by watching this video, you have identified a goalkeeper that you really like the sound of. And I've kind of hopefully proven that you don't need to be spending that money on an Edison or a Martinez in order to get a really high scoring goalkeeper. Hopefully you've come to that conclusion, as I kind of have through doing all the research and stuff like that. Guys, if you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like. I massively appreciate it. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. Please do comment who you think is going to be the highest scoring goalkeeper next season. Even if you think it's going to be Edison or Martinez or Alisson or someone like that, fair enough, I understand if you think that's genuinely going to happen. But I would just suggest to you guys that over the last 2 seasons, 4.5 million goalkeepers have been the top scoring goalkeepers for 2 seasons in a row now. So I am predicting it's going to happen again. A fairly cheap goalkeeper to come in and do the business. But let me know what you think about that. Of course, go check out Fantasy Football Hub. Amazing, absolutely love it. 25% off, link in the description. And aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for the next video, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.